Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Necrobarista Final Pour on the Nintendo Switch. This one, it's a story heavy experience. It combines the idea of coffee shop and death, but is it going to be worth your time or should you go elsewhere? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here, join our growing family and let's get started. So to start, I just want to say to avoid spoilers, given the narrative direction of this one, I've restricted footage here to the opening 2 hours. So the story and the concept here, you find yourself in a coffee shop, but this isn't a normal coffee shop. Think more almost limbo, a place where the dead, they're granted a final 24 hours to exist amongst the living. This is to kind of prepare themselves for the journey ahead. The coffee shop, it's known as the Terminal, and it's in Melbourne, Australia, with a varied and eccentric cast of characters from the fictional realm, such as Maddie, our head barista, to Ned Kelly, a member of Death's Council here, or at least so to speak. We learn of this world though and its rules thanks to recently deceased Kishan. His lack of understanding of where he is or what's happening is kind of our passage to understanding. That works out perfectly, giving us context without feeling like it's forced and out of place in the almost day-to-day conversation as he is simply passing through. The story though goes like this. It's set within a 24-hour window and we share this with the mentioned Kishan along with Maddie, Ned, and then her previous boss Che and a hyperactive child by the name of Ashley, who literally passes out from coffee and throws knives at patrons. So the overarching theme though, it's all about the coffee shop being in debt. You see, in this world you build up soul debt. That basically means if someone stays past 24 hours, it racks up a debt in hours to the council. That is what Ned leads. And here, the Terminal basically has a hell of a balance and must repay it because they were essentially kind enough to let people stay longer than they should have and take their time, almost understanding the scenario that's ahead of them. The characters here though, they are likeable, if more than a little unusual. And I don't want to give anything away, but it naturally deals with themes of death in a variety of manners, such as basically touching, humour, and almost philosophical. It's an incredibly well-written story though that surprised me. It balances the different almost approaches and emotions effortlessly. It kept me engaged for the 5 to 6 hour runtime that I spent with it, and that actually caught me off guard as text-heavy adventures, and that's something I would necessarily turn to typically. When it comes to gameplay then, it's minimal. I've used the word narrative adventure this far as per the eShop description, but visual novel is about as direct as it comes to explain this one. Also no choices at all. Now while we do get extra content with this release, its core story is set over 10 chapters to tell its kind of tale, and dialogue options, as I said, not a thing. This story is intended in a very specific way. Your only input is the tap of the A button to keep that dialogue flowing. Now for many you may instantly say not for me, and that honestly would typically be the case for me as well. It takes a lot of the genre to sucker me in, but this one, it managed it because the characters just grow on you so quickly because of simply how unique it is. A girl running the coffee shop for what is basically Ghost's a best friend that is hundreds of years old, a young girl with a robotic arm, and Ned Kelly to round things up. Also, that's not to say there's not gameplay here. Between episodes you get a chance to free roam the Terminal in first person and explore. I love these moments. You can find memories, they kind of appear like highlighted on your screen. Hold the A button, it will unjumble a selection of words, and while this is mostly optional, it adds a lot of context to the current setup and what is happening, so I do suggest you go ahead and explore these moments. Then you also get the chance to experiment with what is called studio mode, which is essentially set up your own scene with these characters and story. We also get doodle mode then, and this takes place with 3 robots of sorts that appear between episodes. They act almost as a commentary track. Not deep, but you can draw faces on them, and I weirdly enjoyed this as well. Now I'm not going to pretend it's gameplay heavy though, it's definitely not, but it is a unique setup of no freedom in the story itself, but then moments to look forward to in between, because with that progression you find yourself with more and more of the Terminal to explore, and it is, I will say, a lot bigger than it may seem initially. Problems wise then, on the gameplay front, while I enjoyed the first person exploration moments, they are met with a fluctuating frame rate. It's targeting 60 but rarely breaks 40 and tends to kind of bounce between 30 and 40 relatively aggressively. You will definitely feel this. Likewise, studio mode, the idea of setting up your own story, very cool, but I wish it had a way to share stories online with friends. In this moment as well, it's also incredibly laggy when it comes to, responding to your inputs. I also had some issues with text visibility as well, not because of size, but because it almost blended into the background. Fortunately, I will say in the options, though, I did find there is an option for outline and shadows. There's a few other moments of gameplay then, bonus content to unlock in the form of almost a gallery, and then extra content as well over past releases, which I won't spoil, but I'll say this overall, yes, it is a visual novel and as linear as they come, but they found some really interesting ways to engage the player, even if I do wish they maybe added like an autoplay option for the text, because the episodes are consistently text, yet you need to keep on pressing that A button to push things forward. Visually, it's stunning, a cel-shaded anime style. Each character is unique and they have huge personalities, especially when you factor in there's actually very little movement from scene to scene. The text that accompanies them as well, loved it. It kind of reminded me almost of Think Persona. The real win here though is the camera work, as it constantly shifts and repositions itself to new angles, leading to this extremely cinematic experience that feels a little bit above and beyond what the genre typically delivers. Rarely do we get, two waist up characters side by side here exchanging dialogue. The Terminal is as much as a character here as anyone else, and they like to show it as much as possible. Problems, I actually think it looks great, but while we do get some movement from the characters, more would have been appreciated. It's almost like they were nearly there, but they often rely on stationary figures in an environment, and a little bit more movement could have led to an almost anime FMV feeling to the whole experience. Otherwise though, good stuff. I think it's a great looking game and I don't think visually you will be disappointed. So audio finally, and while there's the odd sound effect here and there, coffee poured, knives which for sure make an appearance, the real winner in this one is the soundtrack. It's composed by Jeremy Lim and Kevin Penkin. This is just outstanding work. Past credits, they include Florence and Made in Abyss. It captures though a futuristic tone while never forgetting the human element of the story, which, it's important in a game that is essentially a character study. It's incredible stuff though that I cannot wait to listen to outside of the game, and thankfully it is available on Spotify. So overall, Necrobarista is a game that was well loved on Steam and Apple Arcade, and it's made its way to the Switch, and it's quite honestly the perfect home for it. While it is, of course, gameplay minimal, it has enough variety in there that it captured my curiosity, and I couldn't wait to see where I could explore next in first person and what secrets those locations may hold. That said though, these moments are sadly restricted by performance issues, especially that studio mode where you can create your own scenes, but unfortunately it is incredibly laggy. Something no doubt though we could have seen some serious improvisation with if we had some way to especially share them online with friends. Thankfully though, this story of a last meeting spot, almost limbo, is incredibly intriguing. It's all backed up then by a great cast that by the end of the game they stuck with me, from their moments of seriousness to its sometimes off the wall humour, and with that in mind it's a good 7 out of 10 from me, and even just a little bit of polish in a few areas could easily push this one to an 8. Will you be adding this one to the library then though, or are you holding onto that cash? How do you all feel about narrative adventures? With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.